want to get dinged like he did.
We joke about
But,
that.
but I just want I want to thank you guys for being here, because I know it's a long way to go. This is a historic day for volleyball, and you know, we don't have to go to Chicago in Nebraska to do this. So I really appreciate all you guys being here, and it's a pretty cool setup. So I hope you're enjoying it. But I just want you to know I appreciate you guys being here, and I think your readers, followers, listeners, all those things will do the same. Okay.
Your TV is really good during the regular season. You got NET, you got BTN, on a lot. Then you get to the tournament, and it's not as good. What do you think it would be like for Nebraska volleyball if you had the TV coverage of the women's basketball tournament those first 2 or 3 weeks of the tournament?
Well, that's, you know, we need to get there, and you've heard all that. This will be, like I said in my at the earlier press conference, this should be something that could help propel us. I mean, we're setting a new standard here for volleyball. The NCAA needs to follow. The NCAA controls the ESPN, you know, how they film that or how they televise that. So this should be a stepping stone, like, hey, volleyball is here, and we need to keep growing it, and, you know, instead of nickel and diming it, which they've been doing in the past.
Whose job is it to get better TV for the NCAA tournament?
I think the championship committee, that's those people on that for the NCAA. I mean, they're the ones that make all those decisions and negotiate. Maybe the Big Ten has some power in that too, I don't know. But I also, you know, and the other part of this is, you know, we're now, NET is not going to be able to do as many matches as they have in the past during the fall if you follow that. So there's another story there, because the Big Ten's doing more, and they don't, you know, want Nebraska doing their own thing, I guess. So I know there's going to be some people hot about that, because I think we're gonna have some matches that aren't even televised, or it'll be the student-run thing, and which means Lauren and JB are going to get more listeners.
What's the best case for scenario for how that works with Kinsey and or Kennedy and Nicklin, et cetera, and some sort of DS? What's the best case scenario for how that goes over the next?
Best case is Kennedy's a starting center and Nicklin goes into a defensive specialist role, or serving passer defensive role, which is as good as defensive players I've ever had at Nebraska. So we could really take advantage of her there, and you know, it's Kennedy's time for her now. When we recruited her to come here, and you know, at the time there was no COVID, and Nicklin's accepted that, and so Kennedy's going to get her shot.
Or is Brian and Joe saying she's been healthy this summer?
She's made it through all the workouts, work camps, everything. So she's worked hard, and gotta keep her fingers crossed.
Practice opens up next week. What position does Nicklin going to do the work with?
We'll have her do both, and but when we do team stuff, the plan will be for her to be in that defensive specialist role, but she'll still train with the setters.
Does she kind of fit into that Piano role, or right back, because that's what she would play?
That would be a logical choice. You know, again, it's going to depend on what system we run, but that would be. I mean, Nicklin can play anywhere. I can tell you that right now. I mean, anywhere in the back row. So, but she's going to have to prove it. And I know she's been working on passing. That's the most important thing. But I've never had a setter that wasn't a great passer, because the hand-eye, they just. I mean, I tried to talk my daughter Lauren to do the national team libero. I mean, she would have been a phenomenal libero, but you know, she played pro as a setter and then was over. But you know, look at Caleb Anworth was a setter. Justine Orantes was a setter, and we converted them to liberos in the Cub. They did pretty good.
I think Kayla just got frustrated by the whole process. Do you think that was part of it?
I don't know.
Is it war on?
I think this is NIL poisons people's minds. I've seen, and when I think when you don't have a strong motivation to come back, you know, and a lot of these super seniors, they're using that 5th year, like, oh, I got an extra year, so I'm just going to go somewhere fun and do this or that. But I don't know what's going through her mind. It has been confusing and dipped back and forth, but we've had it worked out since May, and she was here all summer. So you tell me, I don't know.
When did you know that she was entering the transfer portal? Was that a conversation between you and her? Or
No. She told me she was finished, and I asked her if I could help her with the pro contracts, and got her set up with some agents, and that went on for a few days. Next thing I know, they send you a letter saying like, so and so entered the portal. And I said, well, what happened to May 1st? Because you have to go in by May 1st, but like anything, there's loopholes, and there's loopholes.
Day is the NCAA sends you a letter of
Our compliance people.
Okay.
That being said, how valuable is it going to be to have someone like Caitlin with 2 freshmen alongside her battling for that spot?
Well, it'll be great, but those 2 freshmen are talented, and they've got a killer instinct. I've seen it. I told you guys. I told somebody that today. I've done so many interviews. But those two freshmen are not your typical freshmen. They are here to play and compete, and like I said, both of them are coming off of USA teams where they won. And here's a good story for you guys. The last 5 USA teams counting the Olympics were all captained by players from Nebraska. And Maggie was just the recent one. Becca did it last year, was captain. Lexi was this year. And I'm leaving out one more. Kennedy was captain of the Junior Worlds.
How valuable was that for Maggie? I mean, she spent some of the early summer with basketball, but to be able to play volleyball at a high level like that, how valuable was that going into the season?
It was, she was worried she wouldn't make it. And there were some really good medals. And I went down and watched them train, and I was worried she wouldn't make it. But I only saw 2 practices because she basically has played very little volleyball, and then of course trained with basketball. So I think she was really nervous that she wasn't prepared, and she only had a few days to prepare once basketball was finished with her. But she went down there and obviously did a great job, and it was huge because right now she's ahead of everybody because she just played several big matches and trained for 2 weeks and with really good players, and a really good team.
With Caitlin, Nicklin said that you guys had a Caitlin Horde defense that you implemented against Penn State. Now she's on your side of the net, so what is she going to bring on your side of the net?
Well, hopefully she's going to be a first-team All-American level middle blocker. And that means she's going to dominate the net, block balls, and be able to kill balls against 2 blockers. So, which is all what she has done in the past. She's proved that she can play at that level. So, but she has to adjust to our team and all that stuff. So that'll be a learning process for her. And she's an awesome young lady who's just really, really like her, and had some conversations with her, and I'm looking forward to being able to work with her and being in the gym with her. She's cool.
I apologize if you've been asked something similar to this, but Nicklin specifically, her coming back, knowing that she has the goal of coaching and stepping stepping out of the leadership role she had, but into a new leadership role. How does that just grow her as a player, as a person, but also what have you seen from her as she's kind of made that step into a different place on the team?
I've seen her be way more relaxed than she has in the past. I think it's like a new experience. It's new. There's no pressure on her. She knows. I think she's trying to get a whole new perspective on everything, knowing that she's going to go into coaching. So she's trying to just see that other side and get a feel for that. A couple of our grad managers have been here working camps this summer. So we purposely put her with a couple of those guys just so she gets a feel on what they're doing and how how they coach and being around them, and because she's going to be transitioning to that in January. So that's what I've seen from her, and of course she's been flying all over the country doing this Adidas stuff and other things. So that's been really good for her. Yeah, and but again that's great that a Nebraska volleyball player gets to represent Adidas, and the rest she missed a lot of stuff this summer because of that. But like I told her team, who wouldn't trade places with her? They all would. But it's a reflection of Nebraska volleyball that she gets to represent us on that kind of stage, New York and LA.
We're going to dinner. I'm taking the train.
What with Keelan not coming back, you have any scholarship left for this season? Or any plans to do anything to do with that?
I haven't. I mean, I haven't decided yet how we're going to do that.
Are you going to take the penalty this year or next year?
It would have been next year.
How common is that, other than like a rule violation?
It's not.
Have you ever had one?
No.
Last year, Whitney got the nickname Big Hit Wit, and she told me recently she's trying to expand that nickname to Smart Hit Wit. So,
Love it.
you know,
Oh,
how do you
She
feel
told
about
you
that?
that?
Yeah,
yeah.
Smart Hit Wit. Are you jumping on board?
Love it. Thank you. I'm going to be all over that. You just gave me a great mindset builder for her. I'm glad she's on that. That's really good because what she's trying to learn is in high school she can just go over everybody. Well, at our level you can't, and she's got to. If she hits hard every time, they're going to dig it. I mean, Lexi Rodriguez digs it. So you got to move it around, create indecision on the defense. As we say, use the whole court and use the block more. And so that was her challenge, this spring. And we've showed her video like Kelsey Robinson and Jordan, those guys, how creative they are. And so I love it. It's great.
What was the most fun or interesting part of the last 7 hours for you here today?
There was a very powerful moment with Emily Eamon, whatever that was, whatever Big Ten thing
Digital.
that was, digital, yeah. She had, you guys have watched The Bachelor show, Okay. Well, she had Maddie and I sitting there, and we had to tell. She told us you got to. So I had to say why Maddie, what I appreciate Maddie as a player, and it took off from there and got some heavy, deep questions. And both of us got a little emotional. It was a very powerful moment. But we're just looking at Maddie and I are just looking at each other, answering these questions while they're filming it. That was probably the highlight for me because I said some great things about Maddie. She said some great things about me, and there was an emotional connection. But the thing that might top it all off is the TikTok. They have you clap. So Kenzie and I had to close our eyes and clap at the same time. And I did my horse training. I sent my energy to her, and we nailed it the second time. I guarantee you that nobody else is even going to get close. So that might have been the most epic moment of the day.
What's your answer about what you appreciate about Maddie?
First of all, I talked about her being a sixth rotation player, and that's a lost art. And people don't, they all just want the big hitters, and she does everything really well. But then we talked, they got into some more personal things. So, yeah, hopefully I'm sure they're going to throw it out there at some point.
What excites you most about this fall?
The thing that fires me up every year is, well, one, Final Four's in Omaha, so that's always out there. Two, it's a new group, even though we have returning players, but we're probably going to be playing some freshmen. So that's exciting, and just the idea of building this team. We only have a few weeks to do it, but I feel like we've got a great foundation which to start from and build. So I'm excited to see how that all starts unfolding in the gym, and I'm excited to work with our staff. Kelly, and she's done a great job, and Jalen's trying to get here now to develop his role even more with our team and running our blocking defense. So I don't know, it's an exciting time of year. I still get fired up, still get butterflies.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, guys.
Everybody.